The Omen. We all know Damien's story, but how did it all begin? Does the First Omen give us the answers we crave, or does it just leave us with more questions? Let's find out on this episode of Ringside Review. The First Omen was released in 2024. It was directed by Arkasha Stevenson and stars Nell and Ralph Ineson. So, if I'm being honest, I've never been the biggest fan of The Omen or any of the sequels. The original isn't terrible or even bad really, it's just that I don't typically enjoy that type of movie. The entire subgenre is one that I just don't get into. But I will say this, after watching The First Omen, I appreciate the original film more. I like it a little more. That being said, I really liked The First Omen. Prequels are very hit or miss for me. Sometimes I think they hit the mark, and sometimes I'm just like, why does this exist? That's how I feel about remakes too, especially the remake of The Omen. But The First Omen does exactly what a good prequel should do. It ties into the original story in a believable, not overly forced way. And it adds some new elements that really give it merit. So grab your popcorn and make your way to your seat. Let's head down to the ring and dive into the plot of The First Omen. The film begins as Father Brennan confronts Father Harris about an occult conspiracy. The disturbed Harris then hands over a photograph of a baby with the name Sienna written on it. Tragically, Harris meets his demise as a falling pipe strikes his head. In the vibrant setting of Rome in 1971, amidst the backdrop of left-wing protests, American novitiate Margaret Dano embarks on a life-changing journey as she arrives at the Visordelli orphanage. There she encounters a cast of intriguing characters including Cardinal Lawrence, Father Gabriel, Abbess Sister Silva, Nun Angelica, and her roommate and fellow novitiate, Luz.
Ah, you must be Margareta. Yes. I'm Luz. Oh.
As Margaret delves deeper into this world, Luz extends an invitation to a disco, where she finds herself dancing with a mysterious man named Paolo before suddenly losing consciousness. The following day, Margaret awakens with a sense of bewilderment, realizing she has no recollection of the events that transpired the night before.
I didn't, embarrass myself or anything last night, did I? No. Okay. You were well behaved.
Margaret forms a deep connection with a mistreated orphan named Carlita who is haunted by troubling visions. Despite Father Brennan's ominous warning about Carlita, Margaret continues to show compassion towards her. A chilling moment unfolds as Margaret witnesses Carlita sharing a disturbing drawing with Angelica depicting a pregnant woman in distress. Tragically, shortly after this encounter, Angelica's actions take a dark turn as she does some things I'm not really allowed to talk about on YouTube. Father Brennan, caught in a web of ancient prophecies and sinister plots, uncovers a shocking truth. Radical factions within the church, hungry for power and desperate to combat secularism, are orchestrating the birth of the Antichrist to instill fear and drive people back to the faith.
These priests believe they can birth the Antichrist and then control him.
Their pawn in this twisted game, the unsuspecting Carlita, chosen to be the mother of ultimate evil. By the way, don't forget to body slam that subscribe button so you never miss any of the heart-pounding, chill-inducing 5-star matches we have here at WWH. We're not just wrestling with horror, we're delivering it to your screen every week. Later, amidst a chaotic field trip that gives way to a riot, Margaret is plagued by terrifying demonic visions. Sister Silva, sensing a dark influence at play, delays Margaret's vows and warns her to stay away from Carlita. And in a heart-stopping moment, Margaret encounters the enigmatic Paolo, who utters a cryptic warning to look for the mark before meeting a tragic demise, being basically cut in half by a car.
Just look for the mark.
What secrets lie hidden within the mark? Could it be the key to unraveling this unholy conspiracy? In a daring act of defiance, Margaret infiltrates Sister Silva's office, uncovering a hidden chamber brimming with chilling revelations. A series of classified files, all bearing the ominous name Sienna, reveal a disturbing pattern. Each file contains a photo of a disfigured baby marked with the infamous 3 6s. But there's one crucial detail. Carlita appears to be the sole survivor of these sinister experiments. But Margaret's discovery doesn't go unnoticed. Just as she uncovers the truth, she's caught red-handed. In a heart-pounding moment, she glimpses the mark inside Carlita's mouth, confirming her worst fears. But before she can escape with this crucial evidence, she's captured and imprisoned. What dark forces are at play within the church's walls? What sinister experiments have been conducted in the name of faith? And what fate awaits Margaret now that she knows too much? Father Gabriel frees Margaret, and as they go through the files, they uncover a shocking revelation. Another baby had survived. Margaret then finds a mark on her own scalp and has a horrifying flashback. She remembers being forcefully impregnated during a satanic ritual the night she blacked out at the disco. The terrifying truth emerges. The devil plans to mate with his own spawn to conceive the Antichrist. And Margaret was brought to Rome for this dark purpose because Carlita is too young. Desperate to stop this nightmare, the group races to get the pregnancy terminated. But their mission takes a tragic turn when another car crashes into theirs.
What's happening to me?
In the chaos, Margaret's fate is sealed in this chilling battle against evil. Later, Margaret wakes to find herself trapped in a chilling hospital nightmare. Cardinal Lawrence, a shadowy figure at the heart of the sinister plot, reveals the shocking truth. She's given birth to twins, and one of them is prophesied as the Antichrist.
And the other?
A boy.
Margaret, fueled by desperation, fights back, plunging a weapon into Lawrence. But when faced with her own child, a chilling realization dawns upon her. Can she truly commit the unthinkable act of killing her own son? Meanwhile, Luz then stabs Margaret as the conspirators seize the infant boy and set the chamber ablaze to conceal their twisted scheme. In the chaos, Carlita emerges as a savior, rescuing Margaret and her daughter. As the flames dance around them, a horrifying truth is again revealed. A demonic jackal, the true perpetrator of Margaret's assault, lurks within the inferno. We already know what happens to the boy, but the way that they get to that, I think it's pretty cool. They're talking about where to place the baby, and we see a picture of Gregory Peck. They're giving the baby to Robert Thorne, an American diplomat, to secretly replace his wife Catherine's supposedly miscarried infant. Years pass, and we find Margaret living a peaceful, secluded life in the mountains, surrounded by the love of her daughter and Carlita, their little family complete. But their tranquility is shattered when Father Brennan arrives with a chilling warning. The sinister cabal that once tormented her is on the hunt, and her son, the one she couldn't bear to kill, has been named Damien.
They've even given it a name. Your son. Damien.
The ominous name sends a shiver down Margaret's spine, a haunting reminder of the darkness that still lingers, threatening to destroy the life that she has fought so hard to build. If they choose to continue this franchise from here, I think that there are a lot of possibilities, and honestly, I'm a little excited about it. I didn't expect to enjoy this movie, but I was pleasantly surprised. We're going to look at the positives and negatives of the First Omen, but first we do have to take a short break, so stick around for more WWH action. If you want to save on your order from Redcon 1, all you have to do is type in code AndrewDreamer12 when you're checking out, and you will immediately receive a 20% off of your entire order. Also, head over to ProWrestlingTees.com and check out our new t-shirt design. We have a new Wrestling with Horror shirt, and there's also a few new Andrew Dreamer designs as well, so go check them out. And lastly, head over to Patreon and consider becoming a member of the WWH Universe. There's a lot of really cool perks, and we would love to have you. Everybody in the First Omen delivers a really strong performance. Nell Tiger Free and Ralph Ineson are phenomenal in their roles, but it goes beyond them. The supporting cast elevates the stars in each scene. I think that's a testament to the talent of the cast as well as the direction. The score by Mark Corvin is ominous and it's dark. It's well done and perfectly encapsulates the emotions within the story. The movie is also shot very beautifully. I don't always pay real close attention to that, but I couldn't help but notice it here. There were just several shots that stood out to me. I also like the way they chose to tie this movie in with the original. And, that was my biggest concern going in. How are they going to make this make sense? But everybody involved did a good job of making it all work. Sure, they had to take a few liberties, but I don't think it hurts the film at all. Making it so Damien has a sister was a genius move and opens up so many possibilities. You could, in essence, make a whole new franchise that exists right alongside the original films. And the inclusion of Gregory Peck's photo was just the cherry on top. It was a perfect homage, send-up, and connection. I think it would be interesting to rewatch The Omen with the information from this film in mind. I actually think that I'll probably enjoy it more now. But as much as I enjoyed this movie, I do have some issues with it, so let's look at those now. This movie is a bit of a slow burn, and I would even say that I found some of it a little boring. It's really just the first act specifically. I was kind of questioning whether I would enjoy the film at all. And like I mentioned earlier, they changed some of the story elements from the original. Most importantly, the entire motivation of bringing the Antichrist into the world. I mean, that's a pretty big departure. I'm not necessarily saying it was the wrong decision, and I just think it's enough to give a little pause. My biggest issue, though, is that I'm just not a fan of this subgenre. I typically don't rewatch movies like this, and I'm not sure how often I would even rewatch this one. But, of course, that just comes down to personal preference. All in all, I thought The First Omen was pretty good. It'll be interesting to see where they go next in regards to focusing on the girl instead of Damien. It's also absolutely worth watching, and I think it would actually make a really good double feature with the original film. But that is going to wrap up this episode of Ringside Review. If you enjoyed this look at The First Omen, be sure to like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss any of the action here at WWH. And check out the links down in the description. There's some pretty cool stuff there if I do say so myself. And remember, in the squared circle of horror, there's no count out for nightmares. My name is Andrew Dreamer, and this is Wrestling with Horror.